Welcome to the R Spot. I am Iyanla Vanzant, and this is where we come to examine and explore all things related to all kinds of relationships. The goal is for us all to have the skills, the tools, and the information we need to make our relationships more loving, more fulfilling, and more peaceful. You see, relationships are the cornerstone of the human experience in the world, and there's plenty of room for all of us to be better and do better in every single relationship in our lives. So as you listen, please take notes and little by little begin to think about and hopefully practice some of the things that you may hear here, things that you know may be needed or missing from the relationships in your life. Today's topic is juicy. I call it what a man needs, or how a woman can bring her A game. It is known and accepted that men and women are different. We just are. And some of those differences get overlooked and underestimated and cause all manner of problems in our relationships. One huge mistake that women make is that they expect their boyfriend, their husband, their male partners to act like their girlfriends. Ladies, your boyfriend is not your girlfriend. This means he won't think like a woman, he won't act like a woman, and the things that really matter to women probably don't matter to him at all. Now, I know, it doesn't make sense, nor is it fair, since we are the most powerful beings on the planet. But the reality is, men and women are different. Different beings of the same species. For example, men think in headlines while women think in fine print. This means that while we are aware of and concerned with all the fine details, all the needs and wants, he just needs to know the big picture and the bottom line. He doesn't care that you went 5 miles out of your way to buy an organic chicken raised by virgin women in the foothills of Montana. All he wants to know is if the chicken has wings and if he can have another one. Another way to think of it is like this. A man's mind is like the dashboard of a car. You've seen the dashboard of a car. There are a few little indicators, a few little lights that let him know how fast he's going, if he has gas, if the radiator's working, and what gear he's in. Now, a woman's mind is like the control panel of an airplane. There are many, many more dials and lights and indicators and buttons. Men think in headlines, women think in fine print. Also notice the language. A car has a dashboard and a plane has a control panel. You see, a woman wants to know, where am I going? How am I going to get there? Who's going with me? Who's going to be there when I get there? Where'd they get the invitations printed? And who addressed this envelope? Who's cooking? And the thing that every woman wants to know no matter what is going on. Oh, what am I going to wear? My point is this. If we want our relationships to be successful and harmonious, we must accept our differences and not fight against them. And much to our dismay, ladies, a lot of the onus for keeping the relationship alive, peaceful, and joyful is on us. It just is. And that means we must accept that there are certain things a man needs and wants that are not as important to us as they are to him, but they keep him happy. So let's give them to him and stop complaining about it. I call these things a woman's A game. And if you play the game right, ladies, you'll win his heart and get the credit card every time. So here we go. A A game for a woman. Acknowledgement, appreciation, affirmation, and for most men, affection, and an occasional apology. Let's start with acknowledgement. Many of the letters I get from men indicate that he feels nothing he does is ever right or good enough. That's because there's a gauge in the woman's control panel that is fine-tuned to the intricate details. So he can't just take the trash out. He has to take the trash out and put it 6.3 inches to the right of the gate. Make sure that the lid is on it securely and that every bag inside of the can is pulled tightly. If any one of these things is missing, and the dogs tip the trash can over and leave the remnants of bones in front of the house, a woman will forget that he took the trash out and focus on the reason for the dogs getting into the cans. Ladies, that is way too much information for the masculine mind. He just needs you to acknowledge that he took the trash out. He needs you to acknowledge what he did, and not for you to hone in on what he did wrong and why he needs to do better. Acknowledgement without correction or complaining opens the masculine heart and encourages him to be better. Acknowledgement says, you matter. Acknowledgement says, I see you and I appreciate your efforts. Which brings me to the second point of a woman's A game, appreciation. Ladies, we've got to do a much better job of letting the men know that we appreciate them. We've got to let him know that we appreciate who he is, what he does, and yes, what he attempts to do. It's called positive reinforcement. Appreciation is about so much more than saying thank you, which is something many women often forget to say. Appreciation is a way of expressing that something or someone is valuable to you and that you enjoy the presence of that thing or person in your life. Appreciation is an attitude, and it's a way of being that communicates, you have meaning to me, and I'm glad you're here. Sure, we can say thank you for what you did or thank you for what you gave, but we must also cultivate an attitude of appreciation just because he is. It's in the way we look at him. It's in our tone of voice. It's about the little fuss we make over how we put his laundry in the drawer and how we ask him if he wants another piece of that darn organic chicken. Not you want some more, but say, here, I want you to have this. And of course, it's about being thankful and saying thank you for every little thing he does. Now, I know he may never say thank you to you for all that you do, and that can feel a bit overwhelming at times, but trust me when I tell you, men need to feel appreciated. And if we begin to speak and demonstrate appreciation for him and to him, he will return it tenfold. A man needs to know he's appreciated in your speaking and your approach to him. Our third A is affirmation. Affirmation is about emotional support and encouragement. It soothes a man's heart, and yes, it strokes his ego, but he needs to know that the woman he is sharing time, loving, and living with sees and acknowledges the good in him. You can do it, baby. Go ahead. Look at you having a good idea. You know what? You are so brilliant. I just love the way you figure stuff out. Thank you for being such a great father and husband. Now, you don't have to pump him up if it's not true. But if he's there, figure out a way to affirm him. Affirmation is so important to a man because he often doesn't get applauded in the world for who he is. He does a job, he gets a paycheck. He shows up on time because it's expected. He puts a suit on and no one notices because he wears a suit every day. And if they do, very often it never comes across a person's mind to say to him, "My, you look really nice today." Most men get rewarded for what they do. Few of them get affirmed for who they are. Affirmation supports and gives a man a positive mental attitude because it says, I value you beyond what you do, and I see you and the good in you. Our final A, ladies, is about affection. Ladies, a man needs affection. Now, I know. Sometimes you just want to whack him upside his head, but a little affection goes a long way. When I speak about affection, I'm not just talking about hugging and kissing and the wild thing. I'm talking about stroking his hand, rubbing his shoulders, stroking his cheek, or holding his face in your hand. I'm talking about staring at him with that alluring look across the table. I'm talking about passing by and whispering in his ear. I'm talking about being soft and gentle and kind in the moments he least expects it. And ladies, if you have not been in the habit or practice of being affectionate towards him, don't be surprised if your first efforts are rejected. He may look at you like you crazy. Or he may tell you to stop. Or he might ask you, what do you want? Pay that no mind. Just stroke him and walk away. Or kiss him and say thank you. He'll say, for what? Say, just because. Kissing and thanking is a double hitter. That is appreciation and affection. Now, don't go overboard and cling to his back like a squirrel monkey or grab him around the waist when he's peeing. I'm talking about slow, gentle demonstrations that communicate, hi, I like you, or, what you doing later on, big boy? It's the little things that matter. And remember, dashboard, control panel, okay? Your A game, ladies, is important. Acknowledgement, appreciation, affirmation, and affection. These are the elements of your A game that will turn him on and keep him that way. And don't be concerned if he doesn't give you what you give him. Just do it and watch. He'll brag to his friends. He's gonna start coming home early, and he will eventually let you know how it makes him feel and how your A game softens his heart. Now, for those of you women who know you can be a little hard on the fella, a man needs an occasional, and I do mean occasional, apology. Not too much and not too often, but there are those times when you're wrong and you know you're wrong. So just bite your tongue and apologize. I promise it won't kill you, and it'll give him life. My final tip is this. Ladies, stop going to bed in raggedy, ugly pajamas and nightgowns. Somebody is having a sale. Please, go get you something. And stop going to bed looking like you don't appreciate having him next to you. And ladies, if you need support upping your A game, I invite you to consider joining me for the Wonder Woman Weekend in April of 2017. This is a weekend of healing and learning and growing where women come together to support women. This is our 21st year doing the Wonder Woman Weekend, and we have graduates all over the world. So if you're ready to up your A game or your B game or your she game, just visit my website at www.innovationsworldwide.com. Click on the link for Wonder Woman Weekend, and you'll find everything you need to register. Until next time, be blessed.